Hey, it's John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and it's the Entrepreneurial You, the show for dedicated and passionate Caribbean entrepreneurs seeking daily inspiration, brought to you by author, speaker, and award-winning entrepreneur Heneka Watkis-Porter. You must be prepared to ignite.
Hey, it is time for another episode of the Entrepreneurial You podcast. I am your host, Heneka Watkis-Porter. Welcome back if you have been a regular listener here, and if you are new, then a very special welcome to you. Last week, I had the pleasure of just sharing with you about, a little bit about myself and why it is that you should select me as your coach to take you to the next level of success. Now, this week, I'm also going solo to share the power of gratitude. I am big on gratitude, and I'm going to be delving a little bit into that. But first, let me thank those who continue to support the Entrepreneurial You. So the National People's Co-operative Bank of Jamaica Limited, Profit Jumpstarter, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, whose podcast, the Jamaica Stock Exchange and You, is hosted and produced by me. And I encourage you to give it a listen when you get a chance. Now, here's a word from the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And after that, I will be getting the episodes started.
We needed to raise capital, but our experience with local financial institutions was that they were cautious and slow to act, and interest rates were far too high. We had real concerns about financing our business through outside equity investors and the possibility of interference. Could we get a fair valuation for our business? We had our own ideas about the business and its value. Should I go the traditional route of bank financing, or should I try the Jamaica Stock Exchange? So we made a call and experienced transformation of our business through conversations. I'm John Mafood, CEO of Jamaican Teas, and we're listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Give us a call today at 876-967-3271 to begin your transformation through conversation. We want to see your company listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Welcome back, and let's get right into the business tip courtesy of the National PC Bank of Jamaica. And it is a reminder to get organized. Successful businesses rely on proper organization. The level of organization that you have in your business can either make or break it. Without organization, tasks can pile up and you can lose valuable money and time. So a word to the wise is sufficient. Get organized. Thank you so much to the National PC Bank of Jamaica. And now for episode 287, let's delve a little into gratitude. Now, when we think about giving thanks, it is fundamental, let me just say, that we acknowledge God for all the things that He has done for us. And not only should we give thanks to God, but we should also express gratitude to those whom we come in contact with, those enablers of our purpose and destinies, who do little acts of kindness for us here and there. I started writing a gratitude devotional in 2018, and that was shortly after I started the Entrepreneurial You podcast. I was pretty much in a state of bliss and just being grateful for everything that was happening to me and for me during that time. But I left it for a little bit, and I did not return to it until 2020. Now, in 2020, I became really, really ill. My daily practice of gratitude, I recognized at the time, helped me to restore my mind and my body, because I would have shared on this podcast how ill I was, like sick unto death kind of thing. Depression, anxiety, lethargy, fatigue, and all the physical stuff that came along with that. It was really, really bad. But I recognize that God has been faithful to me, and all of that has re-energized me to resume writing in 2020. But again, I left the devotional incomplete at about 90% or so. So it wasn't until the last quarter, beginning the last quarter of this year in October, that my word to win being a coach, because every coach has a coach, right? Apostle Courtney McLean challenged me to a record-breaking quarter. Now, the brainstorming and the reflecting on the idea of finally completing the gratitude devotional had resurfaced. So I was challenged to finish it. and that I'm doing. But not only that, when I started writing the devotional in 2018, the idea to do a gratitude journal also came about, but I never acted on it at the time. But having been challenged to this record-breaking quarter in 2022, I decided to finish both the gratitude journal and the gratitude devotional. So I have now broken my record of writing not just one book, but 2 books in 1 quarter. And so that's how the idea to do the gratitude devotional came about, and you soon have access to it. So for me, gratitude is everything. It doesn't matter what you have or don't have. It really is about your attitude in the situation. I find that when I'm in a place of gratitude compared to when I'm not, I'm in a much better place, a happier place mentally. I'm less anxious and less depressed. And for somebody who's gone through several mental health challenges, gratitude has been a healing force for me. And when I started the podcast, I brought on a guest, Lisa Ryan, who talked about gratitude. And gratitude is a portmanteau of gratitude and strategy. And what Lisa shared has never left me. A gratitude seminar, because of that, will also be a part of the thrust of gratitude. So the devotional, the journal, and also a gratitude seminar to close out the year. So stay tuned, which tops this record-breaking quarter of producing a devotional and journal. But let's talk about what are some of the benefits of expressing gratitude. I want to share that it builds and strengthens relationships. When others know we need them in our lives and that they're contributing to our success, our relationship with them deepens. It improves our health, and I spoke about that earlier. Gratitude positively impacts our health, making us happier and healthier. It increases self-esteem. When we are grateful, our self-esteem heightens as it improves how we feel about ourselves. It also makes us a joy to be around. We can all do with a little more social capital. Expressing gratitude to others makes us more appealing to them. It creates optimism, which helps to drown out the voice of negativity. You know, the scripture talks about my sheep hear my voice and not the voice of a stranger. The voice of negativity is a strange voice to a kingdom child, one who is birthed in the image of a king, right? So when you hear ingratitude, when you hear negativity, that's a strange voice, and that's not the voice that we should be hearing. Gratitude shines the light on the things that we have rather than complaining about the things we don't have. And this practice fosters a culture of abundance, making us optimistic about the future. It causes us to be more people-centered. It shifts away the attention from ourselves and directs it to others. It feels good, simply put. When we express gratitude, it helps our mood and allows us to feel better about our circumstances and ourselves. Gratitude eliminates negative emotions. With a focus on positive energies and emotions, room for negative thoughts and feelings such as envy and jealousy becomes smaller and smaller. And finally, I want to share that gratitude reduces anger. The practice of gratitude makes us more open to receiving negative feedback and strengthens us over time. So you may be asking yourself, how can I foster an attitude of gratitude? I encourage you to force yourself to look for the good in everyday situations and those around you. When you force yourself to look for the good, you can always find it. Start where you highlight the things that are doing well. And that's where the magic happens. And that's what Lisa Ryan says when she came on the Entrepreneurial You podcast in 2017, as she explained her concept of gratitude, a strategy of using gratitude to enhance the production at the workplace. Make a list of what you are currently grateful for, and make it a habit by writing down the things you're grateful for throughout the day and giving details about them. So not just say, oh, I'm grateful for food. Maybe today you had a very special meal. Maybe it was your favorite meal, right? Go a little deeper. And, the fact that the farmer took the time to plant this lovely ackee, so that I could now reap the fruits, and I'm having ackee and saltfish and all of that, just give a little detail, go deeper. Develop a culture of appreciation for the people and things in your life. Appreciate the things that you have, the people that you have. Let me tell you something, man. When I became ill in 2020, 20, I've shared before that situation made the pandemic look like a walk in the park. Go figure. Because when everybody else was facing or perhaps seeing the pandemic as the most traumatic and most difficult time of their lives, for me, that wasn't it. I mean, really kind of, maybe in a weird and strange way, was kind of like, okay that this thing was happening, because this is me trying to find the good in it, right? We're not able to go out and we're in lockdowns and all of these things, and me being sick, couldn't go out anywhere, so couldn't do anything. Well, like, hello, it worked for me perfectly. When I tell you perfectly, it works for me. For me, the pandemic was like a walk in the park. Of course, I've had different times when I've had my own meltdown about it, and that was even leading up to, that was like before it hit Jamaica. I had my meltdown in a Airbnb room, Orlando it was at the time, in early March 2017, right? 2020. So I had my meltdown before it actually happened. So I got through it already. And then, of course, like when I started getting better, like a couple months after starting, getting better, I know into 2021, that's when I started to feel a little bit of maybe anxiety about it. Like, we can do with this thing, the back of this thing right now. But like when the height of the pandemic was on, like, what pandemic? Like, I couldn't care less, because I was battling for my life for, other things. I also want to share that another way to cultivate an attitude of gratitude is to verbally express your appreciation to those who positively impact your life. Yes, I made the people who were in my corner praying and standing up for me and supporting me, like I had a close circle of friends who were praying, because I didn't want any negative energy in my space. I was just too sick for negativity. So I just, like, even some family members, like, take away yourself right now. Like, it's just about this close circle of faith-filled people who are going to be praying for me. Here's another way, right? Thank you notes and letters of appreciation to others. When you tell someone you appreciate them, you create a beautiful memory. When you write it down, you give them a treasure, explains Lisa Ryan on the same podcast episode. So be intentional about it. Meditate on the things you're grateful for. Meditation strengthens the part of the brain that's responsible for memory, learning, self-awareness, and attention. This is a big one, start having positive conversations with yourself and others. Focusing on the good. What you focus on gets magnified and manifested. I've shared pretty much what I want to share with you about gratitude. With that said, I want to encourage you to give yourself the gift and power of gratitude for all of those benefits I've mentioned. And, I've shared with you some of the ways that you can cultivate that culture and attitude of gratitude. I hope that this resonates with you. In 2018, I started a gratitude journal, as in not me creating one, no, but writing in one. I maintain the practice. No, not that I journal every day. Some days I'll journal consistently for days on end. Some days I take a long break. It depends. Like, I don't hold myself hostage to nothing. So I don't do it every day. That's fine. But I may not write every day, but every single day, every day I get up and I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that I have another chance, because I know that on several occasions I could have exited this life, right? Until see you in the next one, but I could have exited this one. So I'm grateful for that. And I always come from a place of gratitude. I hate when people complain, Lord, I don't have, and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect with this, because there are times when I find myself starting to complain about things. I may get antsy and anxious and miserable, cross, angry, miserable, I'm being bound to kill her, right? But I have to nudge myself back into place and say, hey, girl, remember the things that you have, focus on. Like, I'm a nature girl. So when I get up and I see the birds chirping, or I see a butterfly flying, and I see, like, recently, oh my gosh, just having my nieces and nephews around, and just I'm driving to the country with them, and my 4-year-old niece is around the back, and I'm driving, and she's just playing my hair. That is, for me, is priceless. My 2-year-old niece waking up and telling me, Auntie, I want food. Girl, you working? You want to tell me demanding food from me? And just things like those, and just her sleeping on my stomach, and just being around them, and just having them enjoy the country life, and just being a part of their lives. oh my gosh, I am super grateful for them. Like, they are the gift that keeps on giving, because they're so, like, children are just priceless, right? They are absolutely priceless. And as I talk about children, maybe one day I'll come and share on this podcast my story. Maybe that's what I'll do for next time. Maybe that's what I'll do for the next solo episode I'm going to do. But yeah, so just those things, just, they nudge me back into place. Like, you are so blessed, girl, child, wake up. You are super blessed. So I'm grateful. And even as I'm speaking about this whole gratitude thing, like, just some things just welling up and bubbling up over in my heart. And I feel so full. I feel so full. So it is soulful. Yeah, because I feel so full. Yay. You got it? Got that? Anywho, right? So I just want to share that, next week I'm going to be sharing my journey of infertility. I think I want to share that. Yeah, I feel like doing these solo episodes. Yeah, I'm coming back with guests in a couple of weeks, right? But doing these solo episodes, like sharing a little more of me and for you to get to know me more, I think it helps both of us. You get to know who I am, I get to share, and it's always therapeutic for me. So yeah, I'll share that. So for now, I'll just end here as it relates to gratitude. As I share on this gratitude, I want your feedback. I want to hear from you, your story of gratitude. Do you keep a gratitude journal? Things like that. I want to hear from you, right? So let's move into today's money tip, brought to you by Profit Jumpstarter. And it says you don't need to be a pro to invest. You don't have to be an expert to attain good investment returns. Once you follow the rules and keep emotions away, you can achieve satisfactory investing results. Just remember to be aware of your boundaries, keep your investments simple, and invest for the long term in simple products. Thank you so much for tuning into this solo episode with me. Do send us your feedback at Heneka Watkis-Porter at gmail.com or on social media at Heneka Watkis-Porter. Now, remember to follow this podcast on your favorite podcast app or connect with me for all things podcasting at HenekaWatkis-Porter.com. I end with according to the scriptures, which says today, thanks be to God for his indescribable gift. 2 Corinthians 9, verse 15. Well, good.